6 o'clock here on this Monday morning, and with just 6 weeks to go until the 2014 Winter Olympics in Russia, the country is dealing with a pair of suicide bombings over 2 days that have killed 31 people. Officials say both attacks were likely carried out by the same organization. Today's bombing of an electric trolley bus killed at least 14 people, and yesterday's bombing of a main railway station in the city of Volgograd killed at least 17. Both attacks highlight the terrorist threat Russia is currently facing as it prepares to host the Olympics in Sochi. Foreign Affairs Minister John Baird says Canada is in talks with Russia over special security arrangements to be in place at Olympic venues, airports, and border crossings. Back here at home, 10 skiers reported missing near Rossland have been found, and none of them are hurt. Rescue crews were called in at around 5 o'clock last night after a party of around 10 people didn't make it back from skiing at Red Mountain. It's still not clear what happened, but the group may have ventured out of bounds. Still no luck in finding a missing British tourist in the North Shore Mountains. Tom Billings was last seen in Vancouver on November 25th. The search for the 22-year-old resumed yesterday after rescue workers received a tip through social media. 2 women say they saw someone matching Billings' description on the day of his disappearance. They say they spotted him in the Lynn Headwaters area near Grouse Mountain. North Shore rescue team spent the entire day yesterday searching the area, and they're waiting for decent weather conditions before heading back to continue looking. The ski season is off to a slow start for many mountains along the south coast. 3 of the main lifts at Mount Seymour in North Vancouver remain closed because of a lack of snow. Business over the Christmas holidays usually brings in 20% of the mountain's revenue for the entire year, and the lack of snow has dealt that number a big blow. Mount Seymour was offering discounted rates to reflect the limited terrain available to the public. The slopes are expected to get some additional snowfall on New Year's Eve.
Once we see a little more snow, and we're looking quite positive to Tuesday for more snow, that'll allow us to open up more terrain.
TransLink is putting an end to a loophole that allowed Canada Line riders to avoid paying a surcharge to travel from Vancouver International Airport. Right now, passengers who use cash to purchase a fare from YVR are required to pay a $5 surcharge. It's in place to offset the cost of construction of the Canada Line. But those who pay with a Fare Saver card are able to travel without paying any additional money. TransLink will put an end to that when the Compass card is introduced in 2014, and Fare Savers will no longer be available. TransLink estimates by closing the loophole, it will see an additional $1.7 million in revenue. New numbers show demand for laneway housing in the city of Vancouver is on the rise. In 2009, there were just 18 permits issued for new laneway units. This year, the city of Vancouver granted nearly 350 permits. The city says it's trying to encourage construction of the small detached homes by changing bylaws. It's part of Vancouver's eco-density plan. The city hopes to eventually see these alternative housing options throughout the region. A laneway house costs roughly $250,000, and it must be used as rental housing. On Vancouver Island, the rise of the deer population in Oak Bay has become a real problem, but a BC animal rights group doesn't think a cull of the animal is the solution. The Association for the Protection of Fur-Bearing Animals is lobbying the mayor of Oak Bay to stop a planned deer cull next year. The mayor says the number of deer and human interactions is on the rise, and it has led to the deaths of 38 deer this year. Oak Bay is one of several communities planning to target urban deer populations in 2014. Researchers say nuclear pollution from Japan's 2011 earthquake could be partially to blame for a disease devastating starfish along the west coast. What's believed to be a bacteria is disintegrating starfish into a white goo. While warm weather or toxins could also be culprits, researchers say nuclear pollution can't be ruled out. The 2011 earthquake washed large amounts of debris to our shores, and nuclear pollution could have come with that. The cleanup continues in Ontario following last weekend's ice storm, and hydro crews are hoping power will be fully restored later today. Toronto Hydro says the number of homes and businesses in the dark has been trimmed to about 2,500, and if all goes well, those customers could be back on the grid sometime today. It's been just over a week now since a vicious ice storm hit central and eastern Canada. Nearly 4,000 customers are still in the dark and in New Brunswick, and just over 1,000 customers in Quebec have no electricity. An icebreaker is now about 15 kilometers away from a Russian research vessel in Antarctica that has been trapped in dense ice for a week. The good news comes after bad weather created further delays. There's plenty of food and other supplies aboard the ship, which is carrying 74 people.